heard this chant before.
That's the point. I mean, that's the point.
I did pretty good.
Yes, you did great. Welcome.
Hey, KZOOMers.
Holy animals.
Ah, yes.
So we are becoming ourselves as holy animals, and I wanna just appreciate this Zoom community of support, and to say that that I know that Alice, who often comes to our KZOOM, is having surgery tomorrow. So I want to send her lots and lots of. But Susan was saying maybe it was today, but
well, it was supposed to be, and then it was. But yeah, it's tomorrow.
So I just want to be able to hold her, and also that Judy Brown, who's always a presence in our KZOOM, her brother Alan died this morning, and so she is in that delicate place between the worlds with Alan, and so we want to really be able to hold her in our love and our support.
Yeah, we love you, Judy.
Yeah.
And Henry.
And any others who are feeling, that you want to tune into this support. And I'm so also honored that one of my dear friends and teachers, Diane Elliott, is here.
Hey,
and Diane taught me, in the name of her teacher, she taught me there is no safety, but there is support. And so I always want to tune in. I realize that this world is not so safe, but I have support.
Mm-hmm.
It makes such a difference when I can open to that support, when I can receive it, when I can be lifted up by it, when I can feel myself held in the midst of, what feels sometimes like danger. And so the phrase that was inspiration for this KZOOM is one from that our love at the center, that says "Lasusati berichvei Pharaoh, dimitich rayati." I see. So this is the way that the lover is saying, I see you, my love, my friend, as a mare among Pharaoh's chariots. And for me, like the fact that we are calling forth the image of Pharaoh's chariots, which seems like a dangerous place, Pharaoh's chariots. Pharaoh represents our oppressor, our tyrant, our enslaver, and to be able to be able to say, I see you as a mare among Pharaoh's chariots, was just something that I was flummoxed by. After reading a lot of commentaries that didn't help me much at all, I decided to chant. And as I was chanting this phrase, chanting it, and this happens sometimes, I'm chanting it and I realize, I am chanting this as a love song to my own body, my own mare, who sometimes feels kind of vulnerable amid Pharaoh's chariots, and yet this love song is such a powerful affirmation of power, dignity, beauty, courage. There's a teacher of embodiment named Reggie Ray, who says, meditating with the body as our guide, we come to feel that perhaps for the first time in our lives, we are in the presence of a being, our own body, that is wise, loving, flawlessly reliable, and worthy of our deepest devotion.
Mm-hmm.
And that sense of devotion to the body as a doorway to presence. That, that we, I once went to a great kind of channeler of a spirit named Emmanuel. And what Emmanuel said to me was, you can't find your divinity except through your humanity. And I would take it a step further, that I can't find my humanity until I come through the body, and not just awareness of the body as if I'm someplace else, but an awareness from the inside, an embodied aliveness, embodied awareness is what I'm trying to, reach in my practice. And I'm hoping that we, in this KZOOM, get a kind of a taste of that aliveness, of that energy flow of the body that we are, and come into a kind of alignment with ourselves. I've been reading this book by David Abram called Becoming Animal.
Becoming animal,
and and I sort of added the holy animal, becoming animal, and it really has to do with the very refined honing of our sense of being a part of this larger body that we are, and in reading this book, I'm just kind of shocked at how I'm not there, how alienated I am, how apart from this body of the earth and even my own body I am. But there are moments that I get glimpses of it, and it's really one of the reasons I chant, is because when I chant, I feel like I am entering into the sacred through my body, because my body becomes my teacher.
And it's singing. My body is singing. Every cell of my body is singing.
And then everybody is singing. Everybody, the whole world is actually singing, and I want to join in the chorus. And the secret to that joining is really the fullness of my presence. So let's have this first practice be a practice of devotion, of honor, of saying, I see you, my friend, my body, as this great, beautiful mare who lives among Pharaoh's chariots, and yet is not afraid, is in the fullness of animal being. One of the things that David Abrams says in that book, he says, only by welcoming uncertainty from the get-go can we acclimate ourselves to the shattering wonder that enfolds us. So this is a shattering wonder, this Pharaoh's, the Pharaoh's chariots. And it's a kind of a surrender to that uncertainty. Because when we try to insulate ourselves from the danger out there, we also cut ourselves off from the wellsprings of our own joy. And it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. So I think last week we were opening up a conversation with the beloved. Let that conversation be also an embodied conversation, that you want to hear the wisdom and the love that's in our bodies, even though we're a little vulnerable.
These bodies are a little vulnerable.
Yes.
Things happen.
Yes. We won't mention those things now. Let's imagine this as a love song to the truth of who you are, as a doorway to the presence.
And seeing my body and our bodies strong and healthy, seeing the vision of it strong and healthy.
So that it gives us the clearest channel to the divine.
Susati berikve Pharaoh dimitich rayati 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 Susati berikve Pharaoh dimitich rayati.
Open your mouth really wide to chant.
Susati berikve Pharaoh dimitich rayati 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 Susati very fair Pharaoh, dimitich, rayati, susati, very fair Pharaoh, dimitich, rayati, susati, very fair Pharaoh, dimitich, rayati, susati, very fair Pharaoh, dimitich, rayati.
In the silence, let's feel ourselves as a mare among Pharaoh's chariots. Feel both the power and the vulnerability. And when I asked Rabbi Diane Elliott, when I asked her, well, how do we do this? How do we do this work of embodiment? One thing that I really heard from her, it takes a lot of compassion for ourselves. And you're not gonna. It's the compassion is a kind of a doorway in to inhabit the body. So I invite you to take your hands. Feel in your hands that compassion, which is really God's compassion. What is your name?
My name, Rakmiel, God's compassion.
So God's compassion in your hands. And then put your hands on your body, wherever your body is asking for that compassion. So when we can fully inhabit this incredible holy animal that we are, that then we can identify not with like a cage of a separate entity, but an aliveness, a flow of energy through us, which is the divine presence. It's like wherever we have kind of shut down our senses, and our bodies, and our connection to the earth, our earthiness, we also shut down the portals for that divine flow. Mm-hmm. And we want to open them up. And the teaching from Judith Blackstone that says embodiment is living within, being present within the internal space of the body. And she says it's something quite different from being aware of the body. It's a different thing. It's inhabiting my true nature, which is that divine flow within me. So all of this work of being on the path of love is really about entering into presence, becoming fully present, so that we can stand and engage with the divine embrace, that we can become the beloved. And in order to do that, we have to sort of come into the fullness of our being, our full presence, our full stature, And I wanted to, to do this practice that's Romemu. Romemu means raise up, and I think that what I'm raising up in my practice is awareness, is presence, is a quality of connection to the divine that kind of gets stifled inside me. And when I chant these words, that says Romemu, and then the YHVH, which is the unpronounceable name of God, it really represents the mystery, and that is our God. That is what holds us. But we need to raise it up because it gets buried. Maybe it gets buried under our trauma. It gets buried under a kind of a numbness, a disconnection. And as we touch that connection, we want to raise it up. Even if you have just one moment, one little glimpse, you want to raise it up. And so that YHVH, I say it in three different ways. I can, which is that represent three different aspects of the divine that I inhabit, or that inhabits me, which is Havayah, Adonai, and Shechina. So, and the way I translate is Havayah is the aspect of being itself. So that quality of beingness, that's what I want to raise up as the divine presence. Adonai is the quality of mastery that I raise up within me. And Shechina is the quality of presence, of indwelling presence that I am unlocking with my devotion. So let's see what we can raise here. Romemu Havayah Elohaynu. Romemu Havayah Elohaynu. Romemu Havayah Elohaynu. Romemu Havayah Elohaynu. Romemu Adonai
Romemu Havayah, Elohaynu. Romemu Havayah, Elohaynu. Romemu Adonai, Elohaynu. Romemu Adonai, Elohaynu. Romemu Adonai, Elohaynu. Romemu Adonai, Elohaynu. Romemu Shechina, Elohaynu. Romemu Shechina, Elohaynu. Romemu Shechina, Elohaynu. Romemu Shechina, Elohaynu. Romemu Havayah, Elohaynu. Romemu Havayah, Elohaynu. Romemu Havayah, Elohaynu. Romemu Havayah, Elohaynu. Romemu Adonai, Elohaynu. Romemu Adonai, Elohaynu. Romemu Adonai, Elohaynu. Romemu Adonai, Elohaynu. Romemu Shechina, Elohaynu. Romemu Shechina, Elohaynu. Romemu Shechina, Elohaynu. Romemu Shechina, Elohaynu.
So one of the main questions that I ask myself is where do I want to bring my attention? And it's really a liberating question, because there's a tendency in me, and maybe in you, to fixate. Like something, usually something uncomfortable,
Fixate and ruminate.
upsetting, that there's a tendency to fixate, to sort of grab, that piece of, and like a dog with a bone, and hold on to it, and it's really hard to let go. And so that question of where do I want to put my attention really is, comes as a way to kind of wake me up from my fixations, and allow me to experience some of the other sensations besides the one that I'm upset about. And I remember learning this from Thich Nhat Hanh at a Buddhist meditation retreat, where someone asked him said she was sitting with a lot of physical pain. What should she do? And he very gently, very compassionately said, "Is your little left toe hurting you right now?" And she just sort of like said, "Oh, no, no." And he said, "Ah, how wonderful." And the whole room, all were focused on her little left toe, which was actually kind of a sense of pleasure in that little left toe, no matter what else was happening. And I felt like there was this kind of lifting up of our attention, and that it's. But I want to be able to listen very deeply to the messages that my body wants to tell me, and not sort of grab something on. There was this other teaching that was interesting to me that says as you grow less attached to your body feeling a certain way, you become less dissatisfied when it feels different.
Well, that's true. I suppose that's true. Yeah.
So this kind of open kind of awareness and curiosity and compassion that we want to bring to our bodies, rather than a kind of like we want it to be like this, just to be able to feel ourselves present with what is. So
I find myself, I really do have the power once I notice that I'm caught and fixated on that negative thought, fear, whatever, to shift it into the background and be fully present in the foreground, because it's not going to go away, but as long as it's back there in the background, I can be present and have a wonderful life. So.
And Rachel is like one of my main teachers also of body, because he deals with chronic pain, and it kind of leads him to a lot of enlightened practice, because he's got to do that.
I am muscular on that spiritual anatomy
But
thing.
I want to take this next practice, which is about listening, and not just listening, but really listening. So this word Shim'u, shamoah, aylai, it means that God is speaking to us from within the body and within the body of the earth, and saying, really, really listen.
Really listen.
If you really listen to me. And then v'iklutov, that means you're gonna eat what's good. You're gonna have discernment. You're going to take in exactly what is needed. But in order to do that, you have to kind of slow things down a little bit, create a space for that spokenness to happen, and also kind of develop a way of listening to all of creation as not objects but as subjects in themselves. That when we listen to that tree, if we touch that tree is also touching us. And so there's a way of turning it into like that's the that to experience the subjectivity of everything, and not just it as an object. And that to me is really listening. So so I want to do this practice as like what we're aspiring to, this listening place. And when we listen, we won't eat too much. We won't take in too much news. We won't. We'll be able to know exactly the right measure of.
Sounds wonderful.
Everything. So I want to just imagine that and step up to that possibility of listening. And I think the more sensitive we become to that wisdom in our bodies that's really telling us, like, it's like if we haven't listened to it for a long time, it's hard to discern. But you're like this. Here's the practice. So, Shim'u shamoah.
Yeah.
Shim'u
Shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Vekluto, vekluto. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Vekluto, vekluto. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Vekluto, vekluto. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Vekluto, vekluto. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Vekluto, vekluto. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Vekluto, vekluto. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Vekluto, vekluto. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Vekluto, vekluto. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Shim'u shamoah, aylai. Vekluto, vekluto.
So as we become a holy animal, all of our senses are heightened, and we are, receiving messages both from the inside and from the outside, and we can experience a heightened sense of presence. And there's something about presence which becomes like also a prerequisite to pleasure. That real pleasure happens through presence, and then we get to kind of just receive the goodness of our lives. We get to eat what is good, but really learn how to savor it because we're there. We show up for that. So this challenge that we have of becoming present, even though this is a vulnerable place, even though there's so much uncertainty, that all of that uncertainty could send us to a kind of a numbness or an absence or a dissociation.
Yeah.
But we do our spiritual practice because that's, that other path is not going to work. And so we have to find our way to presence.
Back into our bodies.
Yeah. And we... You were so talkative tonight.
I'm very talkative tonight.
That's great.
Well, I'm passionate about this, being embodied. Because when I'm hurting, the impulse is to leave my body, but the relief is going deeper into my body actually does help.
And relaxing it.
Into it and relaxing it, and it doesn't hurt as much.
Which brings us to the next practice, because that relaxation, that deep relaxation, happens because of trust. It's like a trusting somehow this process, this unfolding. And this practice that I call the God field says HaBotayach by Adonai. So when I have trust in that presence within me, when I trust it and I go there, even though I'm a Mare in Pharaoh's Chariots, I trust that this embodied life is going to hold me through it, and unlock my aliveness. So I want to trust it. And when I do, what the psalmist says is that I will be surrounded with loving kindness, which I think of as I call it the God field. It's like when this internal shift happens of trust, of relaxing into being, then something happens. My field is transformed, and the loving kindness of the divine enters my field and fills it, and I am in it. And then I always like to quote Rachmel, who is quoting Einstein, who says,
the field is the sole governing agency of the particle.
So if you think of our body as the particle, and to say the field that
governing agency
that we swim in, this field of our aura that we are surrounded with, that what determines what who I am becoming is really that field, and it goes both ways, because I, through my relaxation and into that trust, I also determine the field also of loving kindness. And I guess when I was talking with Judy about, because she said she was doing this practice, and it opened her to, even though it's been a really difficult time, it opened her to the kindness around her. And sometimes we don't even notice it. And maybe it even drew that kindness to her. Mm-hmm. And so when we're in that place of trust, we attract that kindness, or we notice that kindness, and it is such an essential part of our healing and our growth to be able to open to that chesed and let it surround us, hold us, embrace us. So I want to do this practice. It's a 2-part round, and I want to thank Vivi, who's here also, for her
tweaking
of the chant to get the right grammar.
Thank you very much.
She's my teacher. All these all my teachers here. It's so amazing. So we use that word, that name for God, Adonai, that word that connotes, that calls forth this idea of mastery. So I want to master this sense of trust. And when I do, the chesed will surround me. We'll do the round all the way through for once, and then I'll go into the round. HaBotayach, Adonai, HaBotayach,
Oh, chesed YHVH, chesed YHVH, oh chesed YHVH, chesed YHVH, oh HaBotayach, Adonai, HaBotayach, oh chesed YHVH, chesed YHVH.
But you close your eyes, bring your attention to the breath. Imagine breathing into every cell of your body at once. Breathing in your compassion. Breathing out your radiance. Breathing in your honor of this Mare. Breathing out your aliveness, your power, your dignity. And feel inside the growing trust in this embodied life. It's like, oh, let me give myself to it. Let me trust where it's taking me, even though it might be challenging sometime. Let me give myself to that. And then open to a sense that we are surrounded by kindness. Surrounded by love. Friendship with all of creation. And I invite you to open your eyes, look around the Zoom room to all these holy animals here.
Holy animal faces. Zach cut his beard. He's got a Zach's. We see more of that face.